Hey everyone, Pastor Dressler here. This is the Baby It's Cold Outside edition of Up Close and Personal. Um, you by now you're seeing this. It's January 13th. You're probably aware that there is no school today, and maybe just a bit of an explanation as to why that is. You see, when it gets to minus 40, combination of base temperature and wind chill, then Parkland School Division doesn't run their buses at minus 40, or if there's other conditions that are unsafe, like blizzard conditions, whiteout, or we've had some events where there's been freezing rain and the roads are too slippery. The long and the short of it is, if the Parkland School Division buses aren't running, then our policy is that our school closes for the day. So right now we're under that extreme wind chill, so that's why the buses aren't running and why we are closed. Now, along that lines, even if we do have school, we do have some policies regarding how we deal with cold weather. So that deals with things like indoor recesses and such. So when it gets to minus 30, combination of base temperature and wind chill, then we have indoor recesses, and we have activities in the classroom, in the gymnasium for students. We don't go outside in those temperatures. However, there are times when it gets close to minus 30, but not quite. It's like minus 27, minus 28. In those situations, for our longer recess, our noon hour recess, what we do is we have the kids go out, but we cut that recess a little bit shorter, so their time outside is lessened. We want them to get some fresh air. We all know that they do better when they're outside and they have fresh air and have a chance to burn off some energy. They're a lot more productive in the class and easier to handle. But we want to be careful as well. So we make a point of shortening those recesses up. Now, that being, I don't know if you can hear that, the bell's ringing in the background. That being said, we have had a lot of kids who have come to school not dressed for the weather. So despite being very cold, they're coming in just a hoodie instead of a winter jacket. They don't have anything for their head. Their hands are exposed because they don't have gloves or mitts. And it's not that these students don't have this equipment, they're just not bringing it. So if parents, if you can do what you can to make sure that they come dressed, we would appreciate that. Then we don't have them digging through the lost and found to find something that'll keep them warm. Although there are times when we send them to the lost and found and they find their own gear in there, so sometimes that's a good thing too. Just moving on, some events we've had happen lately. When it was warmer, back on January 4th, we had our junior high ski trip bottle drive, and we thank all the students and the parents who helped work that and brought in bottles from all around the community. This is to help lessen the cost of the ski trip, which will take place in March. We did really well. We filled a trailer and a cube truck, and you can see Tyler Schmidt is quite happy here. And when Tyler's happy, everyone's happy. You know how that goes. But we don't have a total amount yet. We should be receiving that in a few days. Once we hear what the amount raised was, then I'll be able to send home the registration forms for the ski trip. And those students that work the bottle drive, your trip will be subsidized by the amount that we raised collectively and then divided among those students that worked it. So watch for those forms, whether you work the bottle drive or not. Watch for those forms coming home so that your students can register for the junior high ski trip. A few other things coming up. This Thursday, we have a PAC meeting scheduled. Now, what our PAC president has said is that if there is no school on that day on Thursday, then we will reschedule that meeting. But if there is school, then the meeting will go ahead. So this Thursday, 7 p.m., if you can make it at all, we'd love to have you there for that. Those meetings are always very important. And also, something that's coming up is our SMED Camp. This is an opportunity for the students to do some research, not sit and listen to lectures, but to be given a question that they need to solve and to answer, and to go out and find some research. Some of that will come through doing some online research using some of the various digital tools that we've been using, but also it'll come from things like interviewing real people in within our community, or maybe from other places, and using the technology to interview them, and to gain some firsthand research and information in order for them to help answer the question that they've been given. They'll be doing this in groups. If they're in the grades 5 to 9 classes, they'll be divided up into groups, and our younger classes will be doing this as a classroom. So we look forward to that. That'll start on January 22nd, and you'll hear more about that as we get closer to it. Another event coming up is Decades Day. So on the 30th, we encourage everyone, pick a decade and dress like it. And it should be an interesting time seeing all the various decades come out. If you're into the 80s, grab your neon and feather your hair back, and come to school like that. All right. It's cold. Stay warm, and we look forward to the next edition of Up Close and Personal. Take care, everyone.